She walked in like she owned the room and smiled at me like she knew a secret I didn't. The baby shower was in full swing. Laughter echoed through the hall, mingling with the soft clinking of glasses and the rustle of gift wrap. Friends and family surrounded me, their faces glowing with joy and anticipation. I was 7 months pregnant, and this celebration was meant to be a testament to the love and support that enveloped me. Amidst the crowd, I caught sight of a woman entering the room. She was striking, tall, with cascading auburn hair and a confident stride that commanded attention. Her eyes locked onto mine, and a subtle smirk played on her lips. I didn't recognize her, but something about her presence sent a chill down my spine. She approached the gift table, placing a neatly wrapped box among the others. Her movements were deliberate, almost theatrical. I turned to my husband, Daniel, who was engaged in conversation with his colleagues. He hadn't noticed her arrival. I leaned over to my best friend, Maya, whispering, "Do you know who that is?" Maya followed my gaze, her eyes narrowing. "No idea. Maybe one of Daniel's co-workers."
Possibly.
But why hadn't he mentioned inviting her? The woman made her way through the room, exchanging pleasantries with guests as if she belonged. When she reached Daniel, she placed a hand on his arm, her fingers lingering a moment too long. He turned, his expression shifting from surprise to discomfort. I watched as he quickly stepped back, creating distance between them. Their exchange was brief, but the tension was palpable. The woman laughed softly, then glanced in my direction, her eyes gleaming with mischief. My heart pounded.
Who was she?
And what was her connection to Daniel? As the afternoon progressed, I tried to push aside my unease. Guests continued to arrive, and the room buzzed with excitement. Yet, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. During the gift-opening segment, the mysterious woman stood near the back, her gaze fixed on me. When I unwrapped her gift, a delicate silver bracelet engraved with the words, "Forever yours," a hush fell over the room. I looked up, meeting her eyes. She raised her glass in a mock toast, her smile widening. Daniel's face turned pale. He stood abruptly, muttering something about needing fresh air, and exited the room. Maya leaned in, her voice low. "Something's not right. That woman, she's trying to send a message." I nodded, my mind racing. The bracelet, the smirk, Daniel's reaction, it all pointed to a hidden truth. Determined to uncover the mystery, I excused myself and followed Daniel outside. I found him pacing near the garden, his hands trembling. "Daniel," I called out, approaching him. "Who is she?" He looked up, guilt etched across his face. I didn't expect her to come." "Who is she?" I repeated, my voice firm. He hesitated, then whispered, "Her name is Vanessa. We had a brief affair. It ended months ago. I swear." I felt the ground shift beneath me. The celebration, the joy, it all crumbled in an instant. "Why is she here?" I demanded. "I don't know," he replied, his voice barely audible. "I didn't invite her." I turned away, tears stinging my eyes. The betrayal cut deep, but I refused to let it define me. Returning to the party, I plastered a smile on my face, determined to maintain composure. Vanessa watched me, her expression smug. But I had a plan. If she wanted to play games, I was ready to play along. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her face, Vanessa, smiling at me like a wolf in sheep's clothing. Her eyes had held no guilt, no shame. Just cold satisfaction. Daniel tried to talk to me when we got home from the baby shower. He followed me into the bedroom, apologizing, explaining, swearing it had ended long before I got pregnant. But I couldn't listen, not yet. How could he cheat on me while we were trying to conceive? While I was tracking ovulation, counting days, drinking those awful green smoothies because a blog said they'd boost fertility. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. My hand rested protectively on my belly. This child inside me, I was going to protect them from pain, from betrayal, from liars like Daniel. By morning, I had made a silent decision. I wasn't going to cry in corners or beg for answers. I was going to find out everything. Every detail. Every lie. Every secret. I needed the truth like I needed air. That day, I pretended things were fine. I acted like I believed Daniel's story. I even let him make me breakfast and kiss my cheek. But inside, I was unraveling. Maya came over in the afternoon. We sat on the porch, sipping tea. She watched me quietly before saying, "You're too calm." I smiled. "That's because I'm not reacting, I'm planning." Her eyebrows lifted. "Planning what?" "Justice." She leaned closer. "Say more." I told her everything. Every detail Daniel had confessed. How he met Vanessa at a conference. How the affair had lasted 3 months. How he ended it when he realized she was getting too serious. How she showed up uninvited.
He's lying, Maya said.
"I know," I replied. That night, while Daniel slept, I took his phone. My hands shook, but I was steady inside.
Cold.
Focused. I knew his passcode. Of course I did. Love makes you trust. Trust makes you vulnerable. I opened his messages and scrolled. There she was. Vanessa. Their last text was a week ago. "Vanessa, can't stop thinking about you. I still dream of what we had. She can never give you what I can." He didn't respond. But the thread went back months. Dozens of deleted photos. Flirtatious messages. Apologies. Confessions. Promises. Even after I was pregnant. I took screenshots of everything. Then I saw a recent text that made my blood freeze. "Vanessa, I'm tired of waiting. If you don't tell her, I will. And don't think I won't show up again." So, she hadn't just crashed the baby shower. She'd warned him. He let her do it. The next day, I followed her. I found her on Instagram. Her account wasn't private. A little digging, and I saw she checked in at a cafe every morning before work. I went there, sat outside in my car, and waited. She showed up at 8:47 a.m., wearing a sleek gray dress, her hair in a tight bun. She looked professional.
Polished.
Dangerous. I followed her for 3 days. Watching. Learning. I wasn't going to confront her yet. I wanted to understand her. On day 4, I walked into the cafe and sat at the table next to hers. She didn't recognize me at first. Not until I turned my face just enough to meet her gaze. Her spoon froze midair. "Hello, Vanessa," I said calmly. Her expression barely flickered.
Wow.
"Didn't expect to see you here." "I know you didn't," I replied. A beat of silence. She leaned back in her chair. "So what now? You want to scream?
Slap me?
Throw a drink in my face?" I smiled.
No.
"I want to thank you." Her eyebrows shot up. "Excuse me?" "For showing me exactly who my husband is. For removing the blindfold I didn't even know I was wearing." Vanessa scoffed. "You're mad."
No.
"I'm free." She didn't know how to respond. I stood and placed an envelope on her table. "What's this?" she asked. "Let's call it an invitation." "To what?" "You'll see." I walked out, my heart thudding. Not from fear, but from control. I wasn't just reacting anymore. I was writing the story. When I got home, I told Daniel we needed to talk. His face tightened. "Okay, what about?" "You lied." He didn't deny it. "You said it ended months ago. You said she was delusional. But she wasn't lying, was she?" He sat down heavily. "I didn't want to lose you. You already have." For a moment, I saw a flicker of the man I married. The remorse, the sadness. "I don't want to give up on us," he whispered. I leaned forward. "Then don't. But understand this. I'm not the same woman I was a week ago." He nodded slowly. And he had no idea what was coming next. The next part of my plan unfolded like a slow burn. I had given Vanessa that envelope not just to rattle her, but to invite her into the trap she helped create. Inside the envelope was a simple handwritten note. "You want a stage? You'll get one.
Saturday.
7 p.m. 227 West Ashcroft." That was the address of a private room I rented in a cozy downtown bistro, the same place where Daniel and I had celebrated our 3rd anniversary. I chose it deliberately. I wanted every piece of this confrontation to sting. I didn't tell Daniel about the dinner reservation. I simply told him we were going to talk properly, away from the baby clutter, away from the tension. I could see the guilt in his eyes, but also hope. Vanessa texted me the next day. Vanessa, what's the catch? Why should I come? I replied with just 2 words.
Me.
Him. That was all it took. Saturday came. I wore a soft blue maternity dress that made my baby bump prominent. I looked like the image of innocence, of maternal grace. But inside me, a storm churned. I arrived first. The private dining room was dimly lit, with a long oak table set for 3. Candles flickered. A quiet violin played through the speakers. It was deceptively peaceful. Daniel walked in at exactly 6:57 p.m., wearing a blazer and holding a bouquet. I almost laughed. You look beautiful, he said, then paused. What's all this? You'll see. At 7:03, Vanessa entered. Her heels echoed on the hardwood floor. She wore red. Daniel's face drained of color. Vanessa, he said in disbelief. She smiled. Hey, lover. I gestured to the table. Please sit. He looked at me, panicked. What is this? It's a conversation. Something honest. For once. He hesitated but sat down. Vanessa followed. No one spoke for a full minute. I broke the silence. You said you ended it. Daniel opened his mouth. You lied. I cut in. Repeatedly. While I was pregnant. While I was planning our nursery. While I was dreaming about our child's name. I'm sorry, he said, his voice hollow. You're not sorry. You're sorry I found out. Vanessa tilted her head. You wanted truth, right? Maybe he's not the only one who's been lying. I turned to her. What does that mean? She smirked. He didn't just cheat on you. He promised me you were temporary. That your baby was a mistake. I looked at Daniel. His face was pale, lips trembling. That's not true, he whispered.
Isn't it, she said.
You said she was pressuring you. That you weren't ready. That you felt trapped. I didn't breathe. Tell me she's lying. I demanded. His silence was louder than any scream. I didn't mean it like that, he muttered. I was confused.
Scared.
I didn't know how to. You told her this baby was a mistake? I asked, voice shaking. I was trying to keep her from going crazy, he said weakly. Vanessa laughed. Oh, I went crazy all on my own. But it's good to know you meant none of it. That I meant nothing. She stood. You're both liars. And you deserve each other. She turned to me. Don't be fooled. He doesn't love anyone but himself. Then she walked out, slamming the door behind her. Daniel reached for me, but I pulled away. You told her I was temporary? I asked again, more quietly this time. He buried his face in his hands. I didn't know what I wanted. I sat still, a tremble forming in my fingertips. You were supposed to be the father of my child, I said, voice low. The protector, the partner. But you've done nothing but lie and betray and manipulate. He looked up. I love you. I do. I was stupid.
Weak.
But I can fix this. Let me fix this. No, I said. You don't get to fix it. Because I'm not broken. I stood up. You are. He looked like he might cry. I didn't care. I pulled out my phone and played a recording, Vanessa's voice, loud and clear, saying, You said she was a mistake. That she trapped you. That you'd leave her once the baby was born. Daniel looked horrified. You recorded that? I needed the truth. And now I have it.
He stood.
You're going to destroy me. I nodded. Maybe. Or maybe I'll just let you live with it. The room felt like it was shrinking. The lies, the betrayal, the emotional weight. I had carried it alone for too long. But not anymore. He stepped closer.
Please don't do this.
I looked him in the eye. You already did. Then I walked out. I walked out of that restaurant with my hands trembling and my soul shaking, but my head held high. I didn't turn around. I didn't want to see his face one more time. Pleading, weak, full of panic now that the truth was exposed. But I wasn't done yet. I didn't go home. Instead, I went to my sister's apartment. She opened the door and took one look at my face before pulling me into her arms. Tell me everything, she whispered. And I did. Every last word. She was silent for a long moment after I finished, and then she said, "It's time." I knew what she meant. For too long, I had protected Daniel's image, hidden his lies, smiled through the embarrassment. Even at the baby shower, I had let him stay for appearances, let people believe he was the doting father and devoted husband. But no more. The next morning I posted a message online. Not to expose him completely, not to shame anyone, but to reclaim my voice. It read, "To those who smiled at my baby shower, thank you. To those who wondered why I seemed quiet, I hope someday you understand. And to the woman who walked in uninvited, thank you. You gave me clarity I never thought I'd find. I didn't need names. People figured it out. Friends messaged. Some were supportive, some stunned, some silent. Daniel messaged too. Daniel, we need to talk.
Please. Just you and me.
I ignored it. Daniel, I'm sorry. I'm falling apart. I need you. That's when the rage hit. He needed me? After everything? After planting seeds of doubt in another woman's mind about our child, our life, our future? I went to our home that evening, the one we'd picked together, painted together, filled with dreams. I stepped inside quietly. Daniel was sitting in the living room, staring at the photo wall. Our wedding, our trips, the sonogram. He turned as I entered. You came. I came to get answers, I said coldly. And then I'm gone. He stood slowly, cautious like I was some unpredictable animal. Maybe I was. I made mistakes, he began. Mistakes? I snapped.
No.
A mistake is forgetting a birthday. Leaving the milk out. You lied repeatedly. You cheated. You manipulated. I didn't mean to hurt you, he said. Vanessa, she meant nothing. It was a distraction. I thought I could end it quietly. You used her. I was scared. You told her our baby was a mistake, I hissed.
He paused.
I was overwhelmed. You were so happy, so sure. I wasn't ready. You weren't ready to be a man. I cut in. That's what you weren't ready for. He dropped into the chair, buried in shame. I'm sorry, he whispered again. I'm done hearing that, I said. I walked past him, into our bedroom, opened the closet, pulled out my bag. Not all of it, just the essentials. My sister would help me with the rest. He followed me. What are you doing? Leaving. His face twisted in panic.
No. Please.
Let's go to therapy. Let's fix this. You don't fix a fire by pretending it's a candle, I said. You let it burn out, and you walk away from the ashes. He grabbed my arm. I froze. Don't touch me. He released it quickly. My voice trembled, but I spoke clearly. I wanted to believe you were still the man I married. But the man I married would have fought for us. You fought to hide from me. He sank to the floor. You said I was temporary, I whispered. But this baby is forever. And I'll raise them with honesty, with strength, with love. Tears streamed down his face. Don't take the baby from me, he choked. I looked at him, this broken figure on the floor, and for a fleeting second, I felt pity. But it was crushed by the memory of Vanessa's face, of his silence, of the weight I had carried alone for months. You already took yourself from us, I said. I walked out of the room. He didn't follow. As I stepped outside into the cool night air, something shifted inside me. The confrontation wasn't just with him. It was with my own fear, my denial, my longing for things to return to how they once were. But there was no going back now. I wasn't just a woman who'd been betrayed. I was a mother, a protector, a fire he never saw coming. Weeks passed. It's strange how life keeps moving, even when yours feels like it's shattered into pieces. Morning still comes. Birds still sing. The world doesn't stop just because your heart has been broken. I moved in with my sister temporarily. She turned her guest room into a nursery. It wasn't perfect, but it was safe. It was real. People had questions. Whispers followed me in the grocery store. Mutual friends sent awkward texts, trying to check in, without choosing sides. But I didn't need sides. I needed peace. The truth is, after everything, I didn't feel broken. I felt awake. The baby kicked one evening as I stood by the window, watching the sunset melt over the horizon. I placed a hand on my belly and whispered, "We're okay now." I had been afraid of being alone, but I wasn't. I had this little life growing inside me, and somehow that was enough. Daniel tried to contact me again. He sent flowers,
Cards.
apologies dressed up in careful handwriting. He even sent a handwritten letter. I lost myself, and I lost us. I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I'll spend the rest of my life trying to be worthy of being in my child's life. I didn't reply, not because I was angry anymore, but because I was healing. I started therapy. The first few sessions were hard, reliving the betrayal, admitting how much I had ignored, how often I had silenced my intuition for the sake of keeping peace. But slowly, I started to recognize that this wasn't about failure. It was about growth. Then one afternoon, Vanessa contacted me. Her message was short. "I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I left him. I hope you and your baby are safe."
I stared at it for a long time.
My fingers hovered over the keyboard. I wanted to say so many things. But in the end, I typed, "Thank you. We are." That was it. No hatred. No drama. Just closure. And then came the day that changed everything. I had just come home from a doctor's appointment. Baby was healthy, due in a few weeks. I was feeling hopeful again, even laughing with my sister over lunch. That's when the letter arrived. It wasn't from Daniel. It was from his mother. She had always been cold, formal. But this letter was something else entirely. "Dear, my name. I know things ended badly between you and Daniel. What he did is inexcusable. But you should know something. This isn't the first time. There was another woman before you, just before your wedding. I kept quiet because I thought it would pass. I was wrong. I wish I had warned you. Whatever you decide now, I hope you find happiness and raise your child in peace. He or she deserves better. So do you." My hands trembled as I read it. All this time, and I never knew. A chill went down my spine. I had loved a man who had a mask on from the very beginning. And yet, instead of feeling destroyed, I felt confirmed. Like the universe had just handed me permission to finally stop blaming myself. I walked outside with the letter, letting the breeze touch my face. The sky above was turning purple, stars quietly blinking into existence. I whispered to the wind, "Thank you for the truth." It was over. Not with drama, not with revenge, but with clarity. A few weeks later, I gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. Holding her for the first time, I wept, not for what I had lost, but for what I had gained.
Strength.
Freedom.
Truth.
I named her Alina, meaning light, because that's what she brought me through the darkness. And then one final twist. 2 days after bringing Alina home, I received a small package in the mail. No return address. Inside it was a USB drive. Curious, I plugged it into my laptop. A single video file. It was footage from my baby shower, shot from a corner angle I hadn't noticed before. You could see Daniel pacing near the entrance, talking into his phone. Nervous. Then Vanessa entered. They argued, whispered harshly. And then, clear as day, I heard him say, "Just keep it together, okay? I'll make it up to you later. Just don't ruin this." She's still useful to me. She's still useful to me. I slammed the laptop shut. Tears flooded my eyes. Not because I was hurt, but because I realized something important. I hadn't even seen the worst of him yet. And I was so lucky to be out. Whoever sent the footage, I'll never know. Maybe it was Vanessa. Maybe someone else at the party. But it was the final confirmation I needed, that I had walked away from a storm that could have destroyed me. And I survived. No, I rose. And now, with Alina in my arms and the truth finally out, I could begin again. A little older, a little wiser, and no longer afraid.